Good evening. I want to introduce myself. My name is Angela. As you all know, vampires don't exist, but I decided to let you in on a little secret. Don't pay attention to my little naughty sister, she not gonna bit you. Now let me show you something exciting. Well, let me tell you my story for my underworld. For the werewolves, elves, vampires, and witches, they all exist. Do you still think that monsters and vampires don't exist?
Deep within the mystical woods, past a shimmering barrier of silver and emerald, lies the hidden underworld of the non-human realms, a place where ancient alliances and old grudges dictate the law of the land. Here, three great kingdoms stand locked in an uneasy truce, their silken ties frayed and weathered by centuries of conflict and mistrust. On one side lies the kingdom of the elves, an enchanting race who dwell in the heart of the great forest. Led by their serene yet formidable ruler, Lord Ash, the elves are masters of stealth and secrecy. To the west of their woodland realm begins a vast expanse of shadow-shrouded land ruled by Queen Victoria, sovereign of the vampires. Once proud and free, the werewolves were an untamed people. But even under the biting weight of oppression, a spark of defiance lingers in Craven's golden eyes, a reminder that wolves never forget. And then there are the witches, those who do not align with any crown or banner. East of the elves' domain lies their cloaked realm, a land shrouded in dark mist and whispers. This precarious balance, this unspoken truce, is the framework upon which the non-human realms rest. But as with all fragile things, a single crack will send the entire structure crumbling. Yet beneath this thin facade of harmony simmers a volatile reality, one that threatens to plunge their world into chaos. On one side lies the kingdom of the elves, an enchanting race who dwell in the heart of the great forest. Led by their serene yet formidable ruler, Lord Ash, the elves are masters of stealth and secrecy, blessed with unmatched skill in both crafting and combat. Through their sacred elixirs, brewed deep in their woodland sanctuaries, they become invisible, traversing both their world and ours unnoticed. While they are peace-loving by nature, their silence masks a lethal potential. For when provoked, even the humblest of elves has the capacity to hunt, strike, and vanish without a sound. To the west of their woodland realm begins a vast expanse of shadow-shrouded land, ruled by Queen Victoria, sovereign of the vampires. From her towering obsidian palace perched at the precipice of the human world, she governs her bloodthirsty kin with an iron will and an unmatched sense of allure. Unlike the elves, Victoria's kind does not disguise themselves in humility. Vampires revel in the might of their superiority. They appear in human cities under the guise of beauty and charm, relishing the chaos they cause as they enthrall, feed, and destroy with merciless efficiency. Within her palace walls, however, the true extent of Victoria's domination is revealed. Miles below the castle's main halls, the enslaved werewolves labor, forging blades and arrowheads in fiery forges for their masters. Once proud and free, the werewolves were an untamed people who ruled their own territories. But those days have long since been buried under the soot and ash of the vampire forges. Their leader, Craven, a once magnificent alpha, was defeated centuries ago in the bloody conquest led by Victoria's mother. Shackled in heavy enchanted chains, his people now toil endlessly, their strength exploited, their spirit crushed. But even under the biting weight of oppression, a spark of defiance lingers in Craven's golden eyes, a reminder that wolves never forget. And then there are the witches, those who do not align with any crown or banner. East of the elves' domain lies their cloaked realm, a land shrouded in dark mist and whispers. These witches, while reclusive, are feared even by the vampires. Legends speak of terrifying rituals performed long ago by the Blood Coven, a faction of witches who once sought to pierce the veil of life itself. To achieve this, they sacrificed innocent women atop massive iron altars, hoping to unleash the demon Azrael into their world. But the ritual faltered, its power spiraling out of control. What emerged from that fountain of blood was not Azrael, but a beautiful and violent force no one expected. Queen Victoria's mother. The vampiric sovereign descended upon the coven with wrath, obliterating them all. The devastation established one certainty. Of all the inhabitants in the underworld, only the witches possess the dark magic necessary to stand against vampires. This precarious balance, this unspoken truce, is the framework upon which the non-human realms rest. But as with all fragile things, a single crack will send the entire structure crumbling. The crack begins one sultry evening in the heart of a human city. The neon lights of a crowded nightclub pulse with electric energy. On the dance floor, young men and women sway to the rhythm of pounding music, oblivious to the predator among them. Queen Victoria is stunning in her human guise. Her dark flowing hair cascades over bare shoulders, and her sapphire eyes glint with predatory hunger as she glides through the room. Every movement she makes is calculated, magnetic, as if woven from the very music playing around her. Tonight, she is hunting. For all her power, for all her beauty, there is still something primal about Victoria's hunts. She doesn't pick just any human. No, she is meticulous, searching for a specific spark. Arrogance, naivety, or the intoxicating scent of untainted innocence. Such prey amuses her the most. Her eyes settle on a group of young men leaning against the bar, casually exchanging boasts. One of them, in particular, catches her attention. A tall, athletic figure with confident smirks and a glint of mischief in his blue eyes. Victoria smiles. He is perfect. Sliding gracefully through the crowd, she positions herself within his line of sight and feigns an air of casual detachment. It doesn't take long for him to notice her. His gaze lingers, then darts away, a quick human indication of interest. She can feel the shift in his pulse even from across the room. It quickens just the slightest, betraying his growing intrigue. Within minutes, he's standing next to her.
First time here?
He asks, trying for nonchalance but tripping on his nerves. Victoria tilts her head, her smile widening. The youths in human cities are easy to break. They fantasize about beautiful strangers, transcendence, danger. She only needs to give him the illusion of choice. Something like that, she murmurs, her accent deliberately foreign. Though I'd love someone to show me around. Her voice is like honey laced with venom, and the young man doesn't realize he's already ensnared. The game plays out exactly as she expects. Innocent questions, flirtatious laughter, the faint tension of fingers brushing fingers. He doesn't stand a chance. No one in this city does. As the clock turns past midnight, Victoria lures him outside with nothing more than a gaze and a touch. Miles away, Craven sits chained within the molten chambers of the vampire forge. Sparks fly around him as his fellow werewolves hammer glowing metal into the shapes of daggers and spearheads. Their labor is dehumanizing, their bodies lit only by firelight, their breaths ragged with exhaustion. Yet tonight, there is a ripple of defiance in the air. Craven knows it as well as he knows his name. Through low whispers passed under the crackle of flames, rumors have spread. The witches have begun to move. There is talk of an ancient spell, a ritual capable of severing the chains enchanted by vampire blood. For years, Craven has waited for this moment, gathering whispers, biding his time. But what is a leader bound in chains? The werewolves need a symbol, a spark to ignite their revolt. Above him, in the obsidian halls of Queen Victoria's palace, an oblivious vampire noble indulges in wine and arrogance. Craven knows the time is near. As Victoria drains her victim under the pale moonlight, a swift and elegant operation, leaving only a faint stain on her velvet lips, her mind turns to darker matters. The witches worry her. Their presence has grown more pronounced, their defiance louder despite her warnings. Her mother had destroyed an entire coven before, but Victoria is unsure if her own strength could repeat such carnage. Moreover, she senses an invisible current running beneath her kingdom of shadows, an undercurrent of rot. Harmony is breaking apart. The delicate web that has held their destructive alliances and sworn feuds in place is fraying. She is cunning enough to know that power stretches only as far as fear. And fear only lasts as long as one's enemies remain suppressed. With the witches amassing strength, the werewolves stirring, and even hints of elven movement from the great forest, Victoria feels the weight of her reign pressing against her immortal shoulders. Returning to her throne, she gazes upon her dominion, her palace, her slaves, her kingdom. And yet, deep down, the coldest thing about her is the whisper in the back of her mind. Empires rise, but they also fall.